The rain began in the late afternoon, softly at first, like someone brushing their fingers across the roof. The village road turned dark and shiny, and the smell of wet earth drifted into the house through the open window. I stood at the doorway, holding my umbrella, listening to the quiet rhythm of falling drops. The sky was pale gray, and everything felt slower, as if time itself had decided to rest. Inside, the house was warm. Grandmother sat near the window with her knitting needles, her round glasses resting gently on her nose. The small lamp beside her glowed like a firefly, painting the room in golden light. Each click of her needles sounded calm and steady, matching the rain outside. Mother was in the kitchen, kneading dough on the wooden table. Flour dust floated in the air like soft clouds, and the scent of warm yeast filled the room. I slipped off my wet shoes at the door and hung my umbrella on the hook. A tiny puddle formed on the wooden floor, and I wiped it with a cloth. The house always felt alive when it rained. Every sound seemed closer, every movement gentler. The kettle began to sing. Its quiet whistle rose slowly, blending with the rain and the tapping of the roof. Mother poured hot water into the teapot, and steam curled upward like invisible ribbons. She placed 3 cups on the table, each one slightly different, worn smooth by many years of hands. Grandmother looked up and smiled. "Rain makes the tea taste kinder," she said softly. I sat beside her and watched the rain slide down the glass window in thin silver lines. Outside, the garden leaves shone with water, and the small path leading to our house reflected the sky like a mirror. Somewhere in the distance, a rooster called once, and then fell silent again. Mother shaped the dough into a round loaf and placed it in the oven. The fire inside glowed orange, and soon the kitchen smelled of baking bread and warm wood. It was a smell that wrapped around the heart. We set the table together. I spread the cloth carefully, smoothing the wrinkles with my hands. Grandmother placed a small plate of sugar cubes in the middle, and Mother arranged the cups in a neat row. Everything felt slow and meaningful, like a quiet ritual we had known forever. When the bread was ready, Mother took it out and placed it on the wooden board. Steam rose from its golden crust. She cut it into thick slices, and the sound of the knife was soft and steady. Crumbs fell like tiny stars onto the table. We sat down together. The rain outside grew gentler, and the light inside grew warmer. I held my teacup with both hands, feeling the heat travel into my fingers. Grandmother's hands, marked with lines of time, wrapped around her cup as if it were a treasure. Mother closed her eyes for a moment before taking her first sip. No one rushed. No one spoke loudly. The house breathed with us. Between sips of tea, Grandmother began telling a story from long ago about a rainy night when she was young and the village lost its electricity and everyone gathered with candles and sang songs. Her voice was soft and the rain seemed to listen. I watched the steam rise and disappear, and I thought about how many rainy evenings this house had seen, how many cups of tea, how many quiet conversations, how many small moments that never needed to be remembered, yet never left. After we finished, Mother washed the cups while Grandmother dried them with a cloth. I opened the window a little, letting in the fresh smell of rain. A small cat appeared near the door, its fur damp and its eyes bright. I knelt and offered it a piece of bread. It ate slowly, tail moving gently. The rain began to stop. The sky changed from gray to soft blue, and a pale moon appeared between drifting clouds. Puddles on the road reflected the house lights like scattered stars. We moved closer to the window and watched the world grow quiet again. Grandmother placed her knitting aside and rested her hands in her lap. Mother leaned against the wall with a small smile. I wrapped a blanket around my shoulders. Everything felt complete. Not because something big had happened, but because nothing needed to happen at all. The night settled around the village. Crickets began their song, and the air cooled. Inside, the lamp glowed gently, and the warmth of tea and bread stayed in our bodies. I thought about how this rainy evening would one day become a memory, a simple one.